of the dungeons are fucking garbage. Every single like wave that you do after wave 5 should have more and more elites. Like more and more and more and more until you either die or the timer runs out.
Are you guys are you hearing this animal? Cat, I literally just let you in. Kitty's taken care of.
Because that would be really cool. Like, I don't want to do like oh, I'm on wave 9 and 3 succubus spawn. One's here, one's here, one's here, and then there's also a fucking demon that spawns over here. And you kill them, and then it's like, okay, now there's 4 succubus. Okay. Thank God. So
I mean, the events in the dungeon are a little lackluster, but to be honest, I don't really care about them that much. I just skip them. I kind of just don't even do them.
like, you need to have a way to complete the activities faster, because having to sit there for an entire minute whenever you're just re-killing non-elites over and over. How many of you guys just skip the events? Because I skip the events every single time.
There it is.
Unless like I'm just really bored or I just like want to do something new. Let's look at some of the affixes. Let's talk about Suppressor. Suppressor sucks. Why is it that my whirlwind snapshots my location? Like, if I go inside of the suppressor, I should not have to recast whirlwind. And if it's teleporting away, like, you know those...
Wait, hold on, is that real? Wait, hold on, do you have to if you whirlwind starting from outside of the suppressor, you go inside the suppressor, your whirlwind does no fucking damage? That's how that works? That is horrible. Wow. That is, oh wow, I hate that. I've never even done the Barbarian. I hate that.
Mobs, that the second that you engage them, they immediately teleport away. That's insanely fucking annoying.
Yeah,
whenever the main glyph that everybody uses automatically applies vulnerability as soon as you hit them. The export point right here, right? Yeah. Marshall, excellent. Yeah, this one here. So like it's designed in a way to be as annoying as possible. Why the fuck would anybody want to do that? I mean, especially if it's with a vampire class. Because not only do they turn into a bat when they move away, but they also teleport away with their abilities.
I thought for sure it would be like every instance of damage. You know what I mean? Like every instance of your damage is recalculated. Why would they snapshot it 30 seconds ago? I mean, a lot of you guys, I'm sure as barbarians, aren't you just holding whirlwind down the entire fucking dungeon? Just plowing through everything? That seems stupid.
So you're dealing with that shit as well. And I also want to emphasize, as I go through all of these things in the game, I would recommend buying Diablo 4, and I do think that it's a good game. I'm
glad he says that, because it's like, I very much try to be careful when I have my complaints, because I have spent years trashing on games I don't like, and I'm kind of sick of doing that. And on top of it, when you say like 1 or 2 negative feelings about the game, no matter how many videos in a row you say you like the game, then someone's like, I knew it! I knew this game was trash! Blizzard sucks! They're fucking greedy piece of shit devs! Like, it just instantly goes there, and like, I hate that.
It is an extremely solid,
have a fair conversation.
But god fucking damn, it could be a lot better.
Yeah.
It could be a whole lot better. I mean, the reason why I say that is because I think the level 1 to 70, I mean, I think most people would agree with this, right? Levels 1 to 70 is a good experience, where like you get more and more powerful and stronger and it feels better. Like, I think so. Like 1 to 50, sure, 1 to 50. And just 1 to 50 is a good amount of time playing the game. The problem with the end game in Diablo is very simple. There is nothing for you to achieve past level 80, except for more Paragon levels and maybe getting the exact same piece of gear that you already have, where it says a 13 instead of a 12.
That's basically right. I mean, you have to do Uber Lilith, you have to do Nightmare 100 dungeons if you want to, which I haven't even bothered with. Why? You gotta level your glyphs, then you make new characters and wait for the season. That's what everyone's waiting for.
Is this really a good time? Is this really fun? I don't think so. So what they need to do is they need to add a tier 5. They need to add a world tier 5, and then have you know, different items drop there that have more than 4 affixes. Because I think that only 4 affixes on gear is kind of boring. I think gear in general is kind of boring. I think the best example of that the weapon ability pool.
I'm kind of okay with the number of assets we have and the assets we have. I just think the way we acquire the items is the boring part. Like, the only way to get it is to use farm, and you get a drop, and then you can enchant one line. Maybe, you know, the gambles or something, I guess. But it just, for me, it's the how they're coming into the character that's the boring part. It's not necessarily once I have them I feel they're boring. It's the acquiring them.
So like core skill damage, damage over time, damage to injured enemies, damage to healthy enemies, damage to bleeding enemies, damage to basic skills, damage over time. Like, all of these things are just different percentages that don't fucking matter, that don't change your gameplay.
And very often actually add together to be the same fucking percentage you times it by anyway, so yeah.
Any sort of a meaningful way. It's just percentages that make the number go up. They don't feel better. Like, for example, if you compare it to, like, patch 5.4 in Mississippi Mario, your character plays massively fucking different because you have more haste, more crit chance, more crit damage, and more mastery, so you can proc more things. So I don't really feel like my character is becoming, like, it's not really coming online, and I'm not getting these cool abilities.
The problem is like the coming online thing where it's like suddenly you deal damage. If they do that, then basically, because people are already one-shotting like everything, then basically the only way to do that is by having you be like spring carry instantly, and then we're right back into Diablo 3, boys. So I think what they try to do is basically crunch everything down, reduce the speed of the game a ton, but it's an ARPG, so people feel that their games are so small, which they are, that by the time they get to the end game, they don't feel that different from when they were in the early game. But if they make them feel completely different, the only way to make it feel completely different is just blow the power level scaling of your character through the moon, and I think instead what they're going to do is kind of keep the numbers smaller, keep the pacing of the game slow, but then they're going to add in new content to go through and conquer. I think that's their strategy instead of just making your character become a god, if I had to guess.
Whenever I'm leveling up, I'm just getting more percentages. And if you compare this to Diablo 3, at the beginning of the game, where attack speed scaled your crit damage, and your crit damage scaled with your crit strike, and then all of these scaled with your main stat, the game felt a lot more complete in that way. And you could actually feel your character getting stronger, and the way your character played was better. So that's one big factor. I think that it just doesn't really feel any different. The mount system. So let's talk about the mount system. We're going to go outside, we're going to look at it. Let's say I want to go over here. It works, right? Sometimes it works. Let's say I want to go over here. Why not? Is this a joke? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but that's also not the way it works if you pull your character off, right? Like, if you get off the horse and you click over there, you're going to run into the wall also, right? Because you're following your mouse. It's just
Look
kind of
at
the
the
way the game
path.
works. It's not RuneScape.
This is horrible. Why is the pathing so bad on the mount?
I mean, I'll agree with them the mount's bad. But I think there's probably better ways.
It doesn't go around. What the fuck is this? Lost Ark does it better.
It does.
Korean pay-to-win game does this better. And by the way, it does it a lot better. It's not even remotely close. Also, why is the mount on cooldown? Like, if I get off the mount and I want to click on something, why is it a 6-second cooldown? Why is it not like a 2 or 3-second cooldown? I think that being...
Yeah, just cool down the attack from the mount. Because, like, the mount itself has a CC when you get off it. So if you get off the mount, you'll stun or freeze somebody, etc. And I would assume the concept is they don't want you spamming a horse CC as a literal combat movement, or like a combat ability. So therefore they add a incentive for that. I also think they don't want you running away from people in combat, but I think there's other ways to do that. Like if you've been in combat lately, like you can't use the horse, and then it's just like a global ticking cooldown every 1 second. As soon as you're out of combat, you can get it or something. But yeah, the cooldown on the horse also.
Being able to make your mount run faster is really cool. I like that. I think that's a really cool thing in the game. I'm a very big advocate of that. I think it's really cool that they added that. And like the open world events like this, I think are fucking amazing too. I really, really like them. Where you can see people out in the world doing stuff, fighting other mobs. I think that is so cool. And I also think that the mount customization is pretty cool too. I wish you were able to zoom in a little bit more, but for the most part, I'm very happy with the way the game is in that regard. In terms of like the open world and the graphics of the game, I think that they're all really, really nice. And I think that again, the real problems in this game, they manifest themselves towards the very end of the game. Like,
yeah, I think that's why I was fairly positive upon release. And it's slowly, as those people get into the end game, you'll start seeing complaints pop up, is because the first front half of this game is actually really well done, which is also why it's like, I think it's a shame to like skip through the story. I think it's kind of a little bit of a shame to like blow the level 100. The whole like race to 100 thing that they did almost seems counterintuitive to like the point of how they designed the game. So them pushing the race to 100 almost seems like a mistake to me, because it puts the focus on the 100 instead of the focus on the 1 to 50, which is where the game shines. So I feel like that was a marketing failure.
At the beginning of the game, most of these problems you don't have to deal with. Like, they're not really a big issue or anything like that. Also, sellers, it would be nice if sellers were a little bit more worthwhile.
He's spot on about these sellers, by the way. I did like 3 sellers in the early access. One of them was a treasure goblin, and then I was like, oh, you know what? These treasure goblin sellers are actually like a fire away from me the one to do sellers. And then I never saw one again. And every time I've gone into a cellar, it has always, literally always been a waste of time. Never once have I cared.
Personally, I don't think that there's ever a reason to go and do a cellar.
Bingo.
Like, people say that you can get a bunch of treasure goblins or something like that. Maybe you can, but overall it doesn't really make that much sense. Anyway, I guess you could talk about, like, I think a lot of people who play the game know what I'm talking about with this. Like, the different barricades that the game puts up. There is never a time that you want to get off your mount whenever you're riding to a dungeon to destroy a barricade to kill 2 skeleton archers who are standing.
Okay, this is very easily solvable. When you have your boost, when you use the boost, you can blow through the barricades and destroy them and knock people aside. This is the obvious solution. You don't have to remove the barricades, you don't have to remove the minions, you don't have to remove any of that. You just make it where your boost, it gives your dude momentum where he either jumps the barricade or he destroys and blows through them. This is so obvious. It will take it from the barricade being a point of frustration to, oh, there's a barricade, and it'll be a Grand Theft Auto moment of you hit the button and then you, like, you destroy. You'll feel good. You will feel good doing it, and it will literally flip the narrative from like this being a dog shit piece of the game to be like, oh, this is really fun. Like, oh, there's a barricade. Let's blow through the barricade. You will want to do it. It seems obvious to me.
Ending behind the barricade, doing 1/100th of your health every 5 seconds. It's fucking annoying. Now, I don't think that they should remove the barricades. I actually don't think so, but I think that whenever your horse is in the gallop motion like this,
he's gonna fucking say
the horse should be able to break through the barricades.
Let's go! I'm not.
That way you
Let's go, dude. Not pre-watched at all. Let's go, dude. He actually. Okay. Hey. Someone else is. On this thing, so it is obvious. And, like, it is actually obvious. Let's go.
The world, like, you know, you can see different things happening in the world, and, you know, like, your character has an impact of what's happening, or spacebar to pass it. Well, spacebar does that, right? And so you can push through it and break down the barricades if your horse is in gallop mode. I would like that a lot. I would think that was very cool. But yeah, that's kind of my feedback on mounts. Overall, I think that mounts are probably added into the game primarily to give players something else to spend money on. And that's it. Oh, and then I got knocked off my mount due to this thing, and now I can't get back on the mount. 50 more seconds. Very, very cool. So I just have to walk now. Overall,
yeah,
I think that
yeah.
Diablo 4 is I think it's a very good game. But I think also if you play it enough, you will learn to dislike it. And I think that it doesn't really reward players that play it a lot. Like, for example, if you play the game, you know, like 50 hours, I think that you're going to probably have a really good experience playing the game. But if you, oh, here, like this. Okay, here, that one was pretty good. But many of them are not. If you played the game, you'd know that. 15 hours, yeah.
Yeah, it's the bone ones that are the real problem.
Well, that's why I'm giving feedback now. I'm talking about the game now in Season 0, so they can't... So then they can't be like, oh, well, we didn't know. We didn't know. Nah, people are talking about it even now. Because Diablo's a very popular game, right? I mean, this game is the fastest-selling PC game in history. So, a lot of people want this game to be good. And I think that Blizzard owes it to its community to listen to the feedback from players, listen to what people have to say, and improve the game.
On top of that, like, not only do a lot of people want it to be good, but there's actually just like a lot of people playing the game. Like, the numbers are unbelievable. I don't know if you guys saw the first week numbers, but like they sold $666 million worth of copies of this game, and it was like breaking records. You know, there's a lot of people playing the game, so like, yeah, they should probably fix
like this thing where like your cursor, if your cursor is closer to the horse, it doesn't move, like just stupid shit like this. Why is it like this? What's the point of it? Overall, I think that just stop making things in the game annoying. I think that's probably the main...
Yeah, Blizzard does kind of get in their own way with this. Like, there's a lot of things that are really good in the game, and then they just add a lot of annoying things.
The main complaint that I have is that there are certain things in the game that add challenge, but they do it in a way that's not fun. So, like, while like, yes, technically this does make the game harder, it makes the game harder in a way that's not enjoyable to overcome.
Yeah, we're not trying to play Flappy Bird. We're trying to
an extent, this is going to be a game. So, like, some people might not view it this way, but I do. I think...
If I wanted to walk my horse, give me the shift button or something that allows me to walk my horse. That's the nuance. Oh, I think my cursor to always be on the edge of the screen, because then it makes harder to do the actual angles I need to do with the horse.
True that most media addicts get around with over 1%. Players, Microsoft professional people not doing this kind of possibilities. Well, I'm not sure. Overall, I just want to see, like, this is what I want to see. I want to see them add a tier 5 for level 80 plus players that has like new uniques.
That's coming.
Higher drop features, rare uniques like Shaco and Father and the other ones. I'd like to see that happen. I don't think that it is great game design. No, like this.
Yeah, that's the one. It's the bone one.
It's just fucking annoying. It's just fucking annoying. Like, and that's it. But I think that the outdoor content like this is actually great. I like it. I want to see them add more stuff like this. Yeah, this kind of stuff is really good, and just giving people a reason to go out into the world is a major positive and like a huge W in my opinion.
The overworld is a gigantic upgrade over previous Diablo 3 in my opinion. Like, the overworld itself is like a very good reason to want to play the game, because it feels like a living, breathing world. Thematically, it's better. We're not stuck in these stupid fucking corridors and just walking the same thing over and over again with a minor difference in tile set. I actually very much like the static open world. I think it's a good base. I don't think it's complete. I think it's a very good base to start with, and hopefully they add on to it sooner rather than later would be my take.
Yeah, I even made like a list. I don't know if I can find the list right now of like all the things that I'd like to see happen with Diablo 4.
We looked through this list. This was a good list.
But overall, I think that the Blizzard has a great foundation for this game.
Yeah.
But in order for the game to like really be good and get people to continue coming back for season after season, I think they really have to look at some of the fundamental mechanics and rethink the way they work. Like just affixes that are fucking annoying. Like the ones that you have to like run and stand underneath the like electricity thing or it one-shots you. You've got 15 other fucking sound effects playing. If you want to be staring at your mini-map to see if you can find this little thing, it's just fucking annoying. And it's not like it's hard, it's just fucking annoying. I think that whenever
They do kind of do a lot of things that don't really ramp difficulty, but feel like chores. Where it's like, hey, go down a checkbox list of make sure you do this, make sure you do this, make sure you do this. Congratulations, you're winning. Like, that is a very astute point. That there's a difference between difficulty and annoyance, and they are leaning towards the annoyance side of the difficulty check. I think he's pretty on the money with that.
Challenge to something is just that it's a roadblock, and it's not like there's any sort of like real gameplay to it other than overcoming the roadblock. I don't think we really need the roadblock. Way too much backtracking in dungeons. Yeah, nobody ever wants to go back and do a dungeon that they've already like cleared and run all the way through it again.
Unless it's Nightmare Dungeons, to be fair.
It's just annoying. And so you add, so like basically you add friction for looking through your map because you don't have a mini-map. And besides adding friction for looking through the map, you also punish people for not looking at the map. Are there any affixes you enjoy? I think the fiery affix is fine. Like the on-death mechanics are kind of annoying, but overall I think the fire affix is fine. Let's see. The meteors are fine. I think those are okay. I don't know. I'd have to think about the other ones, but that's really what...
I don't like the rock and I don't like the lightning. I don't mind the corpse exploding too much because I understand that's kind of a fundamental, like, don't stand on the corpses. That's something that's been in ARPGs for a while. I get it's more of an understood staple. The giant rock that just follows you around like an annoying animal that smashes the ground, and then the stupid lightning that happens, and it's like, oh, you have 3 people and you guys aren't right on. Congratulations. I honestly
the volcano one. I think a lot of that also poison. Anytime I do blind burrows, I'm just constantly poisoned or spamming potions. Like maybe this is something that's going to get fixed with them rebalancing resistances. But for now, it's just obnoxious. Like I never want to do that dungeon because of that. World bosses, I think, are good. I don't mind world bosses. I think it's a cool way for you to show off your gear if you've got really good gear, and also it's just an easy way for you to perform yourself.
World bosses are the target dummies of this world. That is what they are. You get some gear, and they have the opportunity. Some of them can drop cosmetics. Other than that, they're not like for your progression. I can tell.
Like this kind of stuff is like really, like the fact that your mouse runs at the speed that your mouse is farther away from the cursor.
He's really doubling down on that one. He doesn't like that. He's mentioned a couple of games that get hard.
No, they don't. It's a world boss. It's a loot pinata. World bosses are loot pinatas in every single game. There's no glory to it. It's just a target dummy that people get to go and hit. I think the only things that are good in games is it creates stress and concentration, and eventually relief from climax, which in reality dopamine, which increases addiction. People get so you get the more annoying it is. So I don't think that makes any sense. I think that if you apply that logic in a large scale, then it would just be better to make our game more and more annoying, right? Because it would just make people more addicted.
Wait a minute, isn't that what mobile games do? And mobile games are annoying as fuck. You know what's really annoying? Having energy resources where they're actually going to play the game.
I think that there's a big difference between something being annoying and something being challenging. Like, for example, there are a lot of games that aren't annoying, and they're just challenging or hard. A lot of things that feel that are not really annoying, they're just really hard or hard to see.
There's also a mix of both when it's a target market that I'm certainly thinking here. But there's like a getting over it or going up. Like the ones that are both annoying.
Which you could say is overall that hard. It's a weird way to look at things that annoying play is actually a good thing because it gets people to overcome it and overcome it and like releases dopamine. So like if that's the logic and the goal is to release dopamine, is the only way to release dopamine by making annoying content, or are there other ways to do it, like making challenging content that you feel good after you beat it? So you have some of these like outdoor world events. I personally find them pretty boring. How many of you guys go out and do these outdoor world events?
I don't know, I'm 50-50 on this one. I do a good amount of these overworld events. I would rather do overworld events than do the same damn dungeon over and over again. To be honest, I'd rather walk in the overworld. I find the overworld more appealing than instances per person. I find that because it's more like an MMO type of thing. It feels more like a world than I'm in a world.
Because to me, I've only done it never thought about it. But yeah, I mean the open world, as you can see, once you have really good gear, and like my gear isn't even like fully optimized. There's people that do way more damage than I do, and like nothing is really a challenge. You just go by and you just roll shit down, roll shit over, and it's super easy. Stuff like this, like by the way, is like really cool. I like stuff like this
like
where you
that
can
too.
get like trapped and there's like skeletons that come in and attack you. Like that's actually kind of a cool. It's a cool type of annoyance because it's actually like you get to fucking blow up a bunch of mobs. Like that's why, because it's cool.
Yeah, and it's also something you kind of have to look out for, and it's also really makes sense. Like you're popping up to attack you. You know what I mean? Like it's enemies. They were hidden. It's an ambush. It goes over.
And some hills,
I
have you?
completed all my
Well,
renown.
You're in the right place.
Yeah, I mean overall, like again, I'm very
Be the
positive
good
about this
this
game.
world desperately